Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Shane and I am back with Q&A number 2. I'm excited. I love these kinds of videos. I love you guys being able to ask me any questions that you want. So if you are seeing this video now and you have a question in mind that you'd like to ask me, go ahead and leave it down in the comments below and I'd be more than happy to make a Q&A number 3. But let's get started. So I'm pulling questions from YouTube, Instagram, and what's that other? Snapchat. YouTube, Instagram, and Snapchat. If you want to find me on any of them, of course, maybe not YouTube, but everything else will be linked down below if you want to find me. But let's get started on YouTube questions. If I don't pronounce your name right, I'm really, really sorry. Oh, by the way, I'm also filming on my husband's phone, so no, I did not get a new camera because my phone's right here, but I took his phone away from him. So the first question comes from Ira Jab, or Jabe, I'm sorry. What makes you so lively? They have a couple questions, but we'll start with that one. What makes me so lively? And how do you tackle your problems? And I'm in love with your daughter. Oh, thank you very much. If you are new to my channel or don't really watch my vlogs, my daughter, my 1.5-year-old daughter, Ella, is featured on them quite a bit. I love her. Thank you very much, by the way, for your questions. So it's kind of a two-parter question. So what makes you so lively? I don't know. I have always kind of had an out there personality. In public, I'm very, very shy. I'm not very outspoken. I'm kind of breaking out of that shell of being shy in public, especially because I do so much speaking and I'm kind of a, face or a personality here on YouTube, so I'm getting very, very comfortable with speaking and stuff. But what makes me so lively is I don't know, I've always had a quirky, out there personality. Anyone that describes me literally is just like, she's crazy and doesn't really care what people think, and it's very, very true. I consider myself a very weird person. I am very weird, but I take confidence and I take pride in that. So I guess just not really caring and just being my quirky, loud, weird self just makes me so lively, and I've never been happier. The second part of that question, and how do you tackle your problems? Well, I guess we'll do a couple different scenarios. So honestly, whenever now I'm laughing because my husband gets so mad at me. Like, I'm thinking, like, how do you tackle your problems? Like, let's say, I get into an argument. It doesn't necessarily have to be with my husband, TJ, because any sort of relationship that I was in, if there was like an argument that would arise, all my boyfriends would get really angry that I did this, but I am bomb at the silent treatment. Like, you cannot outdo me with the silent treatment, and it's a bad thing in my opinion because I just feel like the silent treatment is just not a healthy way to deal with our issues. I'm trying to tie this into the question because a lot of times when I have an issue with confrontation or an argument or whatever it is, I do the silent treatment, or I kind of pretend that problem isn't there, and that's not a good thing by any means. I don't recommend this, but I'm being totally honest about how I deal with some situations. I've gotten much better at it, knowing that it's not going to solve anything, not talking to that person who I happen to be in that confrontation with and just ignoring the problem. That's not going to make it go away. So now I try to tackle my problems when it comes to confrontation by taking time for myself to still be able to gather my thoughts and think about what I want to say before I actually do say them. So it might still take me a day or two to talk to whoever it is again, but I do come to you and I'd be like, okay, we had this issue, let's talk this through. I mean, other ways that what was the question again? How do you tackle your problems? I mean, if if it's like one big problem, I'm trying to think of a specific example. I don't know. I guess it completely depends on the scenario. Like I said, with relationships, it was always I tackle my problems by giving them the silent treatment, which in reality isn't really tackling your problems. I don't know. It's a very, very hard question without like a specific example, but I guess that answer it in some way. Next question comes from Helen Shipe, and she actually has 3 questions, so we'll go ahead and answer those. So her first question, what advice would you give someone who's moving to a different school or a different state? I have only moved once in my life to a different state. It was actually like the next door state. So it wasn't that big of a move, but I was in 5th grade, and when I moved, I did not talk to anybody. I felt like people thought I was very, very weird because I was always buried in my books. I always had my nose stuffed in my books, and I was really, really introverted, so that made it really, really difficult to have friends and stuff, and I never did after school like curricular activities or anything. So I feel like if you're moving to a new school and you're not going to know anyone and you want to have friends and get to know some of your peers and stuff, I would really highly recommend trying the after-school curriculars, or like, if you like sports, I'm not a sports person, but if you like sports, try out for a sports team and just don't let fear hide you back. I know firsthand how awkward it is to be the awkward and new kid at school, and I really, really wish that I had done something a little bit more and put a little bit more effort into trying to make some friends, because 5th grade was a really, really tough year for me. I didn't have a single friend. I met a couple girls who were just as awkward as I was, but we were really, really good friends and stuff. But I don't think we actually became friends until maybe about sixth grade, but I knew them in 5th grade. But I would just highly recommend just trying your best to be as friendly and outgoing and just talk to the people next to you. Talk to the people who sit behind you, because you're going to be sitting around them all year long. And if you've never said a single word to them, don't expect them to say a single word to you. So that's my advice for moving to a new school, because I think it was the hardest part about moving to a new school. I mean, I guess, really, truly making friends or even acquaintances is gonna help you in a new school, whichever way you look at it. So that's that. Or a different state, same deal. I mean, if you're moving to a different state and you're not in school or anything, I mean, just really do your research about the state. If you're not moving because you have to, just make sure, do you like city? Do you like suburb? Do you like country? What kind of neighbors do you like? Are you introverted? Are you extroverted? Really, really do your research and find a place that you'd really like to settle down and live, because I've been several different places. I kind of lived on a really busy area, and then I've lived sort of suburb, and then I didn't live, but I stayed at a really, really rural area, and I've kind of figured out what I like. So if you're moving to a different state, just see what's around, see what the capital has to offer, see what kind of attractions are around, just see if you like it there before you move. Okay, her second question is, what is Ella's new favorite food? I probably should have looked at the questions before I start answering, but I'm just gonna answer them off the top of my head. Rapid fire. Ella is super picky when it comes to food, as most babies are. She loves, I guess this is kind of new. She loves Alfredo sauce, pasta with Alfredo. She will down. This girl loves that. She also loves any sort of rice pilafs. And she really likes ice cream. I don't know. She's very, very picky, but I feel like she's gonna have my appetite. I eat like a bird, but I eat a lot throughout the day, and I eat very generic food. I'm not a big person into experimenting with new foods. I'm a very big fan of like just comfort food. If I could live off of side dishes for the rest of my life, I'd be totally happy, but I'm not a vegetarian. Mashed potatoes are my thing. So I feel like because that's what I eat and just happen to have in the house is kind of what she's just growing off of and eating all the time. So, but yeah, to answer the question, she really loves Alfredo and rice pilaf. And her third question, what is your favorite type of lip liner? I'm sorry. Whoa, okay. What is your favorite type of lip liner, pencil or creamy? So the question doesn't ask like what brand or anything. So what type? Pencil or creamy? I'd have to say creamy, but at the same time, creamy kind of has its pros and cons. Now, I have been using a creamy lip liner for a really long time. It's a Palladio lip liner. I've talked about it so much more than I should have on my channel, but I have always just really liked creamy lip liners so much better. I just feel like they go on so much more smoothly, and I feel like pencil liners, like, I don't know if I'm just not using them right, but they kind of hurt me. Whenever I put on pencil lip liners, I just feel like they're really hard and just a little too difficult to work with, whereas creamy lip liners just glide on. On the other hand, some creamy lip liners don't last as long as pencil lip liners would, and sometimes creamy lip liners can break off. I've broken the tip many times and you waste a lot of product. So I guess it's really just how you look at it, but if somebody held a pencil or a creamy lip liner, I would choose the creamy every time. All right, next questions come from Listermate2. What would you say to someone who is coming on too strong? I put that in quotes because everyone has their own version of coming on too strong. Okay. I have several examples of people coming on too strong, and I'll tell you how I reacted to them so we can kind of figure out how I react to people who are coming on too strong. Oh, I'm sorry. What would you say to someone who's coming on too strong? Okay, so I used to go out dancing a lot, and the only reason that I stopped is because my friend Kayla, who I had gone out dancing, we literally used to go every other weekend. That was our thing. I'd pick her up, we'd go out dancing. But she's actually pregnant right now. She's about 30 weeks pregnant, but we're picking that back up after you're done being pregnant. But when you are in a club situation, it's a very different world. It's very, very different. A lot of different rules apply. And, you know, I love dancing. I'm a half Hispanic, and the Hispanic in me comes out every time I go dancing, because every time a Latina song comes on, gotta move that body, gotta move while I'm eating my hair, gotta move that body. So you get approached a lot by men, especially, you know, two young, attractive women go out dancing. You're going to get approached by all different kinds of men. I've had so many crazy stories from out in clubbing and stuff, but even men have different ways of coming on too strong. There are some that will come on like nicely. They'll come out slow and be like, you know, working up to the point of where it becomes a little bit awkward. But then other men just come on too strong. So I remember there was a situation where I was dancing and this guy comes up behind me and starts grinding on me. Now, I'm married, so I don't like to dance with other men because I feel that's just not okay in my opinion. And so I turned around and I'm like, oh no, like, get off me, I'm just dancing. I literally go I gotta fix this curl, it's pissing me off. Okay, so I fixed it. So, you know, I was dancing and I told him, I'm like, I'm sorry, like, I'm all set. And he's like, no, baby, like, I want to take you home. I want to, you know, F you and sleep with you and do nasty things. And I'm like, I was literally like, what do I do in this situation? And it was 2 minutes of knowing the guy. I didn't know his name. I didn't even get to look at his face before he was telling me that he wanted to bring me home. So when people come on a little too strong like that, I get angry. I'm like, seriously, that is the most disrespectful thing. But at the same time, I'm not bitchy about it. I don't like being a bitch at all. Even my friend Kayla pointed this out. She's like, you need to be a bitch sometimes at the club. Like, you need to tell them no. I just don't like being a bitch. I really, really, really don't. So I try to like tell them no, but I can feel myself getting angrier and angrier, especially with someone like that who would not take no for an answer. I will always start off so sweet, and I'm like, no, thank you. Like, I don't want to hurt your feelings. It's nothing personal. It's just I'm married. And I'm like, no, all set. But then they're like, oh, no, baby, like, let's go home. And I'm like, no, all set. So it kind of escalates, and there comes a point where I'm like, no, like, you need to back off. I'm not coming home with you. I'm married. So with someone coming on a little too strong like that, it always starts the same way with me, just being very, very polite about it. And most people just get the hint. If you say no once or even twice, they get the hint. But there are certain that just keep going on and on and on, and I just have to start getting angry or say something to make them stop. I also had an incident that was a little bit different, and I handled it a little bit differently. There was this guy who kept approaching me in Walmart, and he ended up knowing my name, and it was a very weird situation. Like, he literally followed me all around Walmart. I did a whole story time on it if you want to see it, but he kept following me around Walmart, and that made me very uncomfortable, especially because I had my young daughter with me, which just makes me very nervous in general. And he tried giving me his number. I ended up throwing his number out when I got home. Like, there's a whole story behind it. And then I didn't mention this in the story time because it didn't happen until after, but he ended up like finding me on Facebook and sending me a message, and I just blocked him. And that's one of those situations where I'm like, you're coming on too strong to the point of where I don't even want to deal with it. So I feel like that question turned into a total rambly story. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to give examples of different scenarios where people came on strong and how I deal with them. So I hope that answered that question. And the last question for YouTube comes from Marla Feliciano, and it says, what is your Snapchat? I replied to her on YouTube, but it's ShayzoenayYT, but that's always down below if you ever want to send me a Snapchat. Alright, let's move on to Instagram. I actually just posted a picture to Instagram, and we only have one question, which is totally fine, but I did still want to answer it. So this comes from Greg Lock Fitness. What do you think about the shredded physique look? There's a fine line between between sexy and... I really, really like men who are really in shape, when you can see their muscles, like very defined muscles. But then there becomes a point where it almost becomes scary. Like, I like veins in the arms. Like, if you have that one vein coming down your bicep or something, that's cute. That's hot. That's sexy. But if you have like 2 freaking extra heads on the sides of your, what is this, like the trachea? I don't remember what this is called. This like weird like neck muscles on either side. Like, that is scary. Bodybuilding scares me. Like, it's a little bit too much. And I'm talking about men. When it comes to women, I like women who have defined muscles, but not super shredded, like ripped, I'm gonna rip your frickin' breasts off if you look at me wrong look. So, like I said, there's a very, very fine line between what's sexy and what's scary, but I do like people who are really, really in shape. If you're like really in shape, I don't know, to be honest, it kind of varies from body to body. Every body kind of conforms to muscles a little bit differently, so it all depends. But there's a fine line. All right, moving on to Snapchats. I have 2 Snapchats, and one is from congested. One is from Helen Scheip. I'm actually gonna move forward a little bit, try to get you guys to focus. So I'm gonna get super dark, but all right, this one's from Helen. Actually, I don't even know if they're video. I'm kind of new to Snapchat. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, okay. So Helen's was just a question. Oh, she asked a lot of questions. All right, what is your favorite season? Okay, sorry. Quick break, now my nose is red. So what's my favorite season? My favorite season is fall, hands down. I love everything about fall. I love the weather. I love the fashion. I love Halloween. Halloween is my favorite holiday. I love the leaves. I love the colors. I love building scarecrows. I love hay rides. I love pumpkins. I love everything about fall. In the winter, would you rather stay, this is still from Helen, by the way, in the winter, would you rather stay where you live or go somewhere warmer? Go somewhere warmer. I hate the winter, and for those of you that may be unfamiliar, I live in New England, so we're very, winter is friendly over here. I hate the winter. It's actually winter right now. The shirt is not very appropriate for it, but I am already ready for spring, and it's only February, but I hate the winter, so I would love to go somewhere different. My parents actually have a house down in Puerto Rico where they go and visit a couple times a year, and I would be more than happy to get up at the end of Halloween, pack my bags, go to Puerto Rico, and not come home until May. Why am I so nasally? Ah! All right. Another question she asked, what's your favorite kind of ice cream? Ooh, I don't think anybody's ever asked me this before. I bet you won't guess it, though. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to guess. What do you think is my favorite ice cream? Go ahead and leave it down below. Before you even watch the rest of this video, go ahead and leave it. I want to see if you're right. And I'm going to stare at you until you do it. What's my favorite ice cream? What's my favorite ice cream? Okay, did you do it? I don't see a comment. Okay, it's black raspberry. I love black raspberry ice cream, and I thank my dad for getting me into it. That's all I ate for as long as I can remember. When I was a little girl, we would always go to an ice cream shop with my dad, and I'd always get black raspberry, and it was so delicious. I can't wait to see what your guys' response to that was. Okay, and the last question she asked is, if you could eat one dessert for the rest of your life, what would it be? Oh, that's really hard. Oh, that's really hard, because, I mean, I'm more of a fan of, like, pastry type of things or, like, cake type of things versus maybe candy. Oh, no, girl. I lied. I'll tell you right now what I would eat for the rest of my life. Sellas. I would eat sellas for the rest of my life. I'm going to put a picture right here of what sellas are, and I cannot find a single person in my life that loves sellas or even likes sellas. Nobody likes them. Nobody, but they're so delicious. And if you're one of the people that likes sellas, take a box of sellas and put them in the freezer. Your life is going to be forever changed. You're welcome. All right, this one comes from Shaina Maria. We are still on our Snapchats. If you never had your daughter or met your husband, how would your life be right now? Wow, you know what? I'm kind of excited for that question because it's something that I think about a lot. I would never, ever, ever, ever give up my daughter or my husband, and if this was somehow possible, I would never go back in time and change anything. I would never change my life. As you know, as shitty as some things can be right then and now, I believe I am where I'm supposed to be, and my daughter has given me more than you guys could ever imagine. My daughter is literally my saving grace. She saved my life, and anywho, so where would I be? To be honest, I'd probably be traveling a lot. I really thought about going to LA to pursue my YouTube career a little bit more, like track down the big YouTubers and get them to collab with me. No, but I truly thought about moving to LA and seeing just what is available out there for me. So I'd probably be on the opposite side of the country right now, maybe pursuing modeling or something in the entertainment industry, but that is not where my life wants me right now, which is okay, and my life needs me in New England raising my daughter. But that is probably where I'd be, or I'd be still stuck at the same job that I had before, making crap money, still trying to pay off this house. So actually, that's probably more legitimate because I bought my house before I started dating my husband or had my daughter. So I had this thing for a while that I had to pay off. But maybe in like 2 years, I was able to sell it and move to LA. You never know. Okay, so that is actually all the questions from YouTube, Instagram, and Snapchat. So thank you, girls, so much for all the questions. And I think there was a guy on Instagram that also sent me a question. So thank you to everybody. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up. It lets me know that you enjoyed and that you like Q&A videos. If you want to be notified about any new videos that I post, go ahead and hit that sub button. It is totally free. And I vlog every single day except for Fridays, where you get a special video like this one, or it could really be anything, and you get a makeup tutorial every single Monday. So again, until my next video, I'll see you next time. Bye, guys!